news tonight. Boys claim the Ducks Awards for Niue High School and Niue Primary School this year. Cybersecurity roadshow to help locals protect themselves from online scammers. And the public reaction to the fuel increases. Good evening and welcome to our bulletin of BCN News. Leading the news tonight, the people who live in the 3 villages furthest from Alofi are calling on the government to do something about the increasing cost of fuel, but also the road conditions, and to help buffer the cost of travelling from Liku, Lakapa and Mutalo. Local businesses like dive operator Niue Blue will have to carry the extra costs due to the late notification. Tonight, we share some of the public reaction to the increasing cost of fuel that came into effect on Monday. The cost of petrol is now $3.90 per litre, and diesel will now cost $4 a litre. And while most people understand how expensive it is to transport fuel to the island, the poor conditions of the roads to the outer villages and the timing of the increases is not the news many want to hear just before Christmas. A resident of Lakapa who wished to remain anonymous says that for them it is not a matter of choice because travelling to Alofi is essential to get to their jobs to support their families. They said that we're spending more just to reach work to support our families. The damage to our vehicles and the rising fuel costs are just too much to bear. We need help. There needs to be some sort of compromise somewhere, better roads, or just some relief from these rising costs. Helena Tongakilo from Mutalo says that people living in the outer villages are living paycheck to paycheck and have to choose between essentials to cover the cost of fuel increases. She says that the distance means broken vehicles, worn tires, high vehicle maintenance costs. Distance also means more petrol to last from paycheck to paycheck, out of pocket for family essentials. Meanwhile, for the local businesses, for local dive operator Niue Blue, the timing and late notification of the increases will have an impact on their business because they just released their new packages for the new year, and normally these costs would be passed on to the customers. Evan Buckley, in a statement to BCN News, said that they use up to about 12,000 litres of fuel a year and is the second highest overhead for their business. He said some warning to the businesses would have been helpful so they can plan and make adjustments accordingly. In a press statement on Monday, the government acknowledged that price adjustments may place pressure on households and businesses, saying that these decisions are not made lightly and every effort has been taken to minimize the impacts on the community while ensuring the reliability and continuity of Niue's fuel services. On Wednesday last week, Prime Minister Dalton Tagilangi informed the Niue Assembly that the cost of fuel was going to increase, saying that the government can no longer subsidise the increasing costs of fuel supply to the island, which will only add to the government's deficit. The last fuel price increase was in April 2022. Artificial intelligence and how to protect children from online harm are just some of the many questions people are asking a team of experts from New Zealand at the Cybersecurity Roadshow. A team of cybersecurity experts are on the island this week to hold a series of awareness sessions for the government, or agencies of government, and various sectors of the community. Here's more. The team is made up of representatives from New Zealand agencies, the Protective Security Requirements, PSR, the New Zealand Police and National Cybersecurity Centre, working together with their local counterparts and partners CEIT, Telecom Niue and the Office of the Secretary of Government. BCN News spoke to team leader Pacific Partnerships, Lefauali'i Merimine Awelua from New Zealand Cyber Centre yesterday about the roadshow.
The Cyber Roadshow is basically for us to get out there, start spreading the messages and understanding that working with our local counterparts, CEIT, Telecom Niue, Secretary of Government, is a very important partnership that we need to have to build the resilience of not only just our counterparts, but also our community and people. So this roadshow covers pretty much the whole rock. We've been very fortunate enough to have have been welcomed by a lot of the villagers. We're training our private businesses through the Chamber of Commerce, as well as our government officials. And we also had a session with our members of parliament earlier on this week.
Understanding the risks and potential harm that comes with using the different online platforms is important in protecting the community from nefarious online activities such as scammers and online bullying.
The good thing about it is understanding that good cybersecurity is done by all of our people, right? So when we're looking at, for example, online safety, it's about what is social media, how can we protect our young people via social media, how can we protect them from cyberbullying, and what is the role of our young people and our communities and our village leaders in that space. In terms of cybersecurity best practices, it's around strengthening your passwords, looking at updating your software, looking at privacy, and then also just thinking about how do we enact small steps during our time on being on technology. What we're seeing is there's a huge rapid increase of technology. You're seeing the iPads, you're seeing computer, but there's not enough teaching, not enough barriers there to help protect our people. So I think those are the kind of messages that we're reinforcing this week.
Niue does not yet have legal protection from online criminal activity, so while the government and the lawmakers work on that, programs like this Cybersecurity Roadshow is one way to help minimize the impacts on our local community.
So good cybersecurity is a marathon. So what we are looking to do is partner with the government of Niue on future campaigns across Niue. It's about this is just the beginning. We wanted to go hard and go strong because we wanted to reach all parts of Niue.
What started off as an idea for tourist information became a colourful illustrated guide documenting 120 species of plant and ferns found around the island's sea tracks, roadsides and gardens. Co-authored by New Zealand botanist Peter Heenan and Niue's Hagit Tongatule, the book is only part of what the Giro are doing to research and document Niue's flora and fauna. New Zealand botanist Peter Heenan first came to Niue in 2024 as part of a team from Landcare, New Zealand, and since then he's been a familiar face on the island.
It covers 120 of the common flowering plants of the sea tracks, roadsides and gardens that you would see, principally written for visitors to Niue, tourists, or in my case, when I first came, I sort of viewed myself as a tourist. I don't quite anymore when I come up here. So that's sort of where it came from and how we ended up with the book.
Peter says that he is still doing more research on a much bigger project to document the flora of Niue.
I'm doing research on the Niuean flora. So there is some species here that need a name change. There's actually a number of species, about somewhere between 6 and 8, that don't have a name, that are currently I can recognise in the forest. So we're slowly progressing, working on some of those. In a broader context, I also work on weeds, and so there's new weed records we've been documenting in the last 2 years as well. And also, where do the weeds come from? They're mostly garden plants that escape. So we've been documenting the garden plants as well.
The last publication of Niue's flora and fauna was back in 1970. Prime Minister Dalton Tangilangi is in South Korea this week in his capacity as Minister of Foreign Affairs. He's there to attend the 6th Korea Pacific Islands Foreign Affairs Ministers meeting. In a press release from Whalefono, the government said the meeting focused discussions on renewable energy development, digital transformation and climate change adaptation initiatives. In addition, Prime Minister Dalton Tangilangi spoke about digital connectivity, strengthening ICT infrastructure to improve access to technology and enhance economic opportunities. He also spoke about sustainable fisheries and ocean governance, promoting responsible management of marine resources to ensure food security and economic sustainability. Capacity building and education. He also spoke about expanding training and knowledge sharing programs to empower Niueans and build local expertise. Prime Minister Tangilangi and his delegation are due back on the island tomorrow. Yesterday, December 10th, was a Human Rights Day. to commemorate the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, founded in 1948, that proclaims the fundamental rights of every human being, that we are all born free and equal in dignity and rights. A reminder that despite our differences, we all have the right to safety, healthcare, education, and freedom of expression. Human Rights Day is not just about one day. Human Rights Day is remembered every day, and every day is a reminder that we all have rights to live free from violence, fear, and intimidation. Yesterday was also the end of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, fighting to end violence against women and girls around the world. Zinedine Ioane from Avasele and Mutalau was awarded the Ducks of Niue High School Prize last Friday. Second place went to Estarina Tonga and Lionel Pulini in third place. The Niue High School multi-purpose hall was full to capacity as families and friends and the school community gathered for the annual prize-giving event of Niue High School. Zinedine Ioane was awarded the top academic prize of the year. Zinedine is the son of Brent and Christine Ioane. In second place went to Estarina Tonga from Alofi North. Estarina is the daughter of Netane and Toa Tonga. And in third place, Lionel Pulini from Hui Hui, Alofi South. Lionel is the son of Tevita and Stephanie Pulini. The prize-giving day is a bittersweet time for the graduating class as they say goodbye to the school and to their friends. For some, next year will be at university or attending a training institution abroad, and some will go straight into the workforce. Congratulations to Zinedine Ioane, Estarina Tonga and Lionel Pulini. Congratulations also to all the teachers and students of Niue High School for all the hard work this year. And for primary school, Tauakina Toeono Tohovaka from Hakupu is the Ducks of Niue Primary School for 2025. Second place went to Starlin Tomailunga and Robert Asher Rex in third place. The crowd erupted in applause as the young ones crossed the stage to claim their prizes. The prize-giving day is the highlight of the school calendar. It is the day when the students and parents celebrate with the school all the hard work over the year. And it was a celebration for the top 3 students and their families, especially for the Ducks, Tauakina Toeono Tohovaka. Tauakina is the son of Natasha and Shane Tohovaka from Hakupu. In second place is Starlin Tomailunga from Alofi South. She is the daughter of Tiffy and Dempster Tomailunga. And in third place, Robert Asher Rex, also from Alofi South. He is the son of Vanessa Marsh and Robert B.J. Rex. Congratulations to Tauakina, Starlin and Asher. These students and the graduating class from Niue Primary will be attending Niue High School next year. Congratulations to all the students and the Niue Primary School team and their families for a wonderful year of learning. Oh, and congratulations to all the students and your parents and, of course, the teachers. A much-deserved break over the festive season for everyone. But from us here at the BCN News team, that's our news for tonight. We'll be back with you on Tuesday next week for our bulletin in Wangahau Niue with Flosana Sione Holo. But it's good night from us. Monuine po,